All right, sorry for the technical difficulties. Shit happens, don't worry about it. But we got Rob Weiss back, and that's the bottom line. The good-looking bastard that he is. All right, so listen, what we left off was that I asked you a question as far as what was the schedule like in the writers' meeting. So, like, what would happen? Monday, you show up to work. How did it start? Did you have any help? Who was with you?
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about Entourage still.
Yeah, Entourage.
So
Yeah.
I think on like Entourage, it was long days, you know. I mean, particularly in season one, we'd be there all night because again, it was a lot of pivoting, you know. We'd write something, it wasn't what HBO wanted, we'd write it a different way, or something we didn't like. So it was just a lot of like trial and error, I think, in season one. And there were a lot of late nights, you know, sure,
How
or
late,
long.
Rob? How late was it?
I mean, you know, Doug will say there were nights that we were there till midnight, probably because we would always like, I think like in season one particularly, we were still, actually most of Entourage, we were always writing the final episode while prepping it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you're like writing to produce, you know?
Right.
Whereas in Ballers, we would try to get the scripts done prior to production for the most part. And it made it like a little easier to navigate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago, but it was a lot of hours, you know. And then there was a season where we had the opportunity, I think, to follow up. The Sopranos did like a final 8 episodes, like in the middle of the year, and they said, "Hey, do you guys want to make an extra 8 episodes behind them?" And that year we produced like 20. I mean, people were just shaking, man. People were like, you would just see people melting down, like. It was pretty. It was a lot, you know.
Yeah.
It was a small crew of people, so.
But Rob, you guys were a hit, man. I mean, people like I'm sure people like, holy shit, I love this. I love the show. You know what I mean? Like you, wherever you guys went, you guys were like rock stars, right?
Uh, yeah, I don't know about rock stars, but it was definitely a cool vibe for
Look,
sure.
you guys were a hit, man.
It was like, you know, collectively, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, with all the actors and everything, it was definitely the premieres over the years were growing in scope, you know. And you know, I don't know how big the audience ever got for the show, but I think it had like a really cool fucking audience, you know. Like it hit the coast really well, LA, New York, big metropolitan places, you know, Miami, Chicago, you know. So it had a cool kind of like, you know, hip, sophisticated kind of following to it. But I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, I think like probably 3 million, 4 million people probably viewed it, you know. It wasn't like Friends or anything, you
Yeah,
know,
but
in terms of,
remember the difference with Friends is it was on NBC. You guys were on cable, HBO. So whoever's paying $10 to $15 a month, 3 to 5 million viewers, HBO's happy, man.
it was great, man. I'm certainly not complaining about it. And at the time, like, you know, HBO was coming off of Sex and the City and Sopranos, so I like to think we were part of that early wave of their premium kind of programming. You know, that we got to be a part of that, building that. So
It must have been
of
a lot
that.
of fun. So after Entourage, Rob, you got How to Make It in America, right?
Yeah, that was kind of like at the tail end of Entourage. We were developing that exactly. Went to New York and made that show for, you know, it was only a couple seasons show. I really only went for season one of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write on season two. And then, yeah, and then, you know, just back to mulling around town after that, trying to figure out what's next. And then, you know, Lev wrote Ballers, trying to fix the frame for you, Eddie.
No, you're fine, Rob. You're looking great.
All right.
Yeah, you're good.
And then, yeah, Lev wrote Ballers. It was like, hey, come be a part of that. And, you know, I actually thought I was going to do that for like 10 weeks over the summer. They hadn't shot the pilot yet. And he was like, you know, we kind of want to figure out what we're going to do for season one. And I wound up going in a room with them for just a bunch of weeks. Me, Lev, at the time, showrunner Evan Riley, a buddy of his, Steve Charlotte. We wound up kind of figuring out everything we wanted to do with season one. So it didn't really make sense to like leave, you know, and not execute. So I wound up staying on that, and that was, you know, that was just the top shelf experience entirely. So, you know, I'm baller. So
Rob, was it
that sums
hard?
up my entire career today. Huh?
What'd you say?
I said that sums up my entire career today.
No, well, hold on a minute. We got a little more. We're gonna get to
I'm
you.
only, no, I'm joking, bro. I'm
Oh,
teasing.
oh, all right. No, no, I know. Listen, but check this out, right? With Ballers, was it hard to get Rock to get signed on for that?
I mean, that was like more of a Lev thing and a Mark Wahlberg thing. I think Mark and Dwayne did Pain and Gain together. And I think Mark had mentioned it to Dwayne and connected him and Lev, you know, and I think you know, it was big that Dwayne went on did a TV show. I don't think he had to do that kind of commitment at the time, but I thought, you know, he probably, you know, having had the football background he had, and it was a cool opportunity for, you know, him to show some chops. I mean, I thought he fucking tore it up, and you know, and like so that was that, you know.
And what made you cast Washington? How do you get that role?
That was more, I think, I don't know how JD initially got in the mix. I know Pete Berg was involved in that
Mm-hmm.
combo as well. But you know, and again, he had a football background too, John David. So yeah, he was just the perfect guy, you know. Again, it's like certain people just show up and they're the guy,
Right.
you know.
You just could tell right away once they entered the room, right? You're like, holy shit! I think this is the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there for his audition, but I saw a tape of it. It was pretty epic, man.
Mm.
You know, like Pete Berg had like, but Pete Berg was throwing him through like, looked like he was putting him through like the mill on like exercises, acting stuff. But it was pretty awesome, man. You know, he's a great actor, JD. So
Yeah. Listen, you guys. It looks like you had a lot of fun. It looks like you had a lot of chemistry on set.
Ballers was special, man. Ballers felt like, you know, and I mean, Entourage was special too, and they were all special for different reasons, you know. I mean, even like How to Make It had a lot of me in it, you know, between like, you know, when I was in like school, and for a second I was like, oh, maybe I'll go into fashion, and it was like a way to explore that. And I had, you know, so many friends in New York that were like street cats, and to try to mix those two cultures. And I felt like with Ballers, it was like, even though I'm not a huge like football fan, it was the opportunity to again like explore character and characters' goals, and you know,
Right. Right.
what are the inhibitions, what are the conflicts, the internal conflicts they got to get over. And so, and I think that, you know, we had such a big cast, man,
Yeah.
on Ballers, you know, and just Cordry and Russell Brand and just everybody. Like I said, Omar and
Yeah.
JD, and, you know, Jasmine. They're just great actors, actresses.
So, Rob, here's the thing. What I learned about you. All right. This is the spot. They actually have stools for you that used to go there all the time called Oaks. All right.
That's
This is where you.
funny, man.
This is where you were doing your writing, huh?
Right.
This is where you
Oh,
doing.
that's funny, man.
This is where you're doing your
No, I didn't.
writing, and you were hanging out with your boys, Louie and Frank.
Yeah, that's funny. No, so my buddy Greg Morris owns the Oaks in my neighborhood. I should turn this around, but I'm scared I'll lose you again. But hold on,
Go
it's
ahead.
right over the hill over there.
Uh huh.
I am a partner in a restaurant called Franklin and Co. that Greg owns.
Uh huh.
The same guy who owns that place, the Oaks. So when he first opened it, I was kind of going through like a breakup, and me and my friends would just meet up down there all the time, like, you know. And Frank Madrano lived under my old house,
Mm-hmm.
like in a unit that was built under it. You know, he was living there, so he was there all the time. My friend Hunter had moved out from New York, and so Greg just thought it was funny that we were always in there. So he put all our names on brass plates, you know. And I would get these like texts from people like, "Hey, I'm on your stool," and but then somebody ran into one of the stools and it got destroyed, and he replaced it. And he's like, "I'm gonna redo the plates," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm over the plates, man. Like, no more plates with the names, you know."
Was Lou with you too?
Louis like a West Side guy. I don't know. I think Lou's always like. I think after Amongst Friends, he stayed in that house that I had.
Mm-hmm.
That was on the other side of the hill that Frank lived in. I think Louis stayed there for a minute, but Louis always lived on like the west side of town. He's a lot skinnier now, by the way.
Oh, is he? Oh.
Louis is in better shape now than that picture.
Well, I'm sorry, Lou, if I offended you, but this is the picture I got. You know what I mean?
But I'm looking at it. I haven't seen Louis like big like that in a long time. He's been like relatively like Louis lean for like a decade. It's kind of wild.
Wow, God bless.
Yeah, I almost forgot he was like once like a bigger guy.
Right, and then so this is the joint where you smoke your cigars right here.
What the fuck is that?
It's called.
Oh, that's a coffee shop on the hill. Nah, I don't really hang there, man. That was all East Side shit from a long time ago. Like we haven't hung out at the Oaks in like 8 years or something. That's literally 10 years ago. We used to sit down there with the stools.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a coffee place. Every once in a while, I'll go down there. But my restaurant that I'm an investor in, which might close after this pandemic, actually, is like, which by the way, I'm okay with because like I really only had it when I like to like go and drink and shit. And I haven't had a drink in like a year, so I'm kind of like, I don't really care. But no, not that I don't care, but you know what I mean. I'm less of a vested, you know, to have a hangout place. But obviously, I care for the people who work there. You know,
Yeah.
Clearly, and for the fact that I invested in it. But whatever, you know. What was I gonna say? That's down on that strip. But most of my life actually takes place now a little bit further west of here. You know, when I go to work, that was in Santa Monica,
Mm-hmm.
and I work out closer to Beverly Hills. I train, so I kind of spend most of my time around there now.
Oh, all right. So where do you live right now?
You want the exact address?
Well, not the exact address. I mean, I don't want no woman. I don't want no woman coming up. Oh, hi, Rob. I know where you live.
I'm at 3591 Northdorf. No, I'm like no, I'm up in the Hollywood Hills, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm around the Beechwood, by the Hollywood sign.
All right.
Beechwood
So,
County.
so you
Yeah.
live. So you live in the.
Where are you? You're in New York.
Right. I'm in New York, but I still have my apartment in L.A. I'm at.
Right. This shirt, the delay is killing me. The shirt is killing me. Why does it look like I'm wearing a blouse?
No,
like
no. You're good. It's Rob. I'm telling you, you're fine.
I gotta watch myself, and I'm like, why does my neckline
just
keep
focus.
plunging?
Focus.
Like I'm in a fucking evening gown.
Focus on my ugly face. How's that? Don't worry about you. You're fine. I'm on my end.
I almost had a Yankee hat on, but then I thought you'd start talking to me about the Yankees, and I'd be lost.
No,
like I don't know shit. Yeah.
Don't
you know
worry
my
about
brother plays baseball. You know that.
Yeah, so your brother, right? I mean, is it your half brother or something like that? Or is it your nephew? What was it?
He's my brother, man. I don't care if he's half. No, he is a half brother. Technically, he is. We have different moms.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, he's like 24 years old. You know what I mean? And I could be his dad, but
listen.
Yeah, he plays Twins at all organization for the Twins organization.
Dude, that's no joke, man. You know.
Yo, the beast, my brother. Yeah, look at him. He's a monster, man.
How big?
People are like, that's your brother? Yeah, bro. He's got to be. He's got to be like. I know I'm gonna get it wrong, but he's got to be close 6'3", 6.
That's a baseball body.
6'3".
That's a baseball
Yeah, and he's
body.
got to be like 230 or something. He's a fucking monster, dude.
Does he hit bombs?
Brother, crushes.
Yeah.
2 years ago, he was like second in the country for all colleges, dude. Monsters. Guys who know like agents I know who talk to people are already saying he's probably the most powerful guy in the whole fucking Twins organization, and he's not even in the majors yet. You know, I mean, you know, he's got to get the batting average up.
It takes time.
Figure out some other shit.
Rob, I have a
But
huge.
he's a beast, man.
I played college baseball down in Florida. I get it. Trust me. I had a scholarship and everything, so I get the fact that it takes time because. You know, when you get to the minor leagues, nobody knows how to hit in the minor leagues. Yeah. Even the superstars when they were in high school and college. Yeah. So I get that part. But listen, you getting drafted, that's no joke. That's special, man.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience, man, to watch it all and, you know, I don't know, it was a lot. You know, he didn't get drafted when he thought he was. You know, a lot of the opportunities he had, he could have gone right into draft out of high school. I mean, his kid's been playing baseball since he's 4 years old, man. He's traveling the country with my dad. And then when he was in high school, our dad got sick and passed away right before he was making, you know, where he was going to declare what he was going to do for college. And it was like he had these amazing offers, 80% UCLA, USC, Arizona, all these like fucking,
Big schools, yeah, big schools.
yeah, and it was just, he wanted to be closer to his mom. Like I said, our dad just passed away. He wanted a full ride. He didn't want to carry any debt. He wanted to get an education. So, he had a lot of complicated choices for a young kid to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever he does in his life, he's gonna do great. Whatever, like whether it's baseball or something else, he's a winner, man, because he's disciplined as fuck. He'll get up at 5 a.m. and he works hard, and he's a sharp kid, smart, and he's gonna do great. So
well, it runs in the Weiss family, kid. You're part of that shit.
Yeah, everybody's like got their own brand of dysfunction, yet somehow manages to do one or two things really well, or well. So, but everybody's hearts are in the right place, and they're all good people. So that's the most important thing,
Hey, Rob, listen, I'm gonna get a little personal here, but I hope I don't hurt your feelings. But I know you loved your dog so much that you had a tattoo on your chest of him.
Well, I got two. Jesus, man. I'm better now, by the way. My chest is better now, man. Yeah, that's my second Rottweiler that passed away a couple of years ago. That's Moses. That's my son's name, actually. This right here is Moses. Yeah, It's actually it's set in a little bit more since then. And then up here, I don't even think I could really pull out, but this is my first one. I don't know if you can see it there. It's me and my Rottweiler. That was my first one, Meyer.
Meyer, right? And you named the cigar company after him?
Yeah. So that was my first Rottweiler, Meyer. And he passed away like 10 years ago.
Was he the dog on Entourage?
No. Everybody always asks me if all my dogs, when they see pictures, they're like, is that Arnold?
Right.
But, if you really watch Entourage, there were like 30 Arnolds, man. They're like I'm a Rottweiler guy, so I could tell.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you look at these dogs, you're like, that doesn't even look like the dog from the last episode. You know what I mean? It's like, they kind of do, but, And then, 8 years later, Arnold still looks young. I mean, Rottweilers, man, they just, sadly, they do not live that long, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. My brother had one. I know. I know the feeling.
It's tough. Yeah.
And then, talk to me about the cigar. How'd you get into cigars as far as, Davidoff, I think you were involved with?
Yeah, I actually just smoked one of their cigars, in hopes that somebody from Davidoff will see this and send me more cigars. So, it's I just smoked one of the Nicaraguans, which is a fucking great smoke. So I was a cigarette smoker, not proud of that. And I quit in my mid to late 30s. A friend was just like, oh, have a cigar, this and that. No. And I think I tried to smoke a cigar when I was young, and it made me sick, probably because I was inhaling or swallowing, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I smoked Diplomatico, and I was like, oh, I'm so into this. So my buddy Ryan Drexler was a big cigar guy. And, I would just smoke with him, and he kind of turned me on to it. He also turned me on to scotches and Bordeaux's, all the good shit, And then he stopped everything and goes to bed at 7 p.m., you know what I mean? So
that early?
He gets me started on all these things and then changes his whole lifestyle. But I'm kind of like that now, too. Like I said, I haven't had a drink in a year. So, so I was into cigars, and I went to go meet someone I was working on a project with, this guy, B. Wynn, up at his offices, and he had rented a space on a floor with some publicists. And as I was leaving, I saw all this Camacho stuff, Camacho cigars. I was like, oh, that's a cool cigar. I've had that cigar. And he was like, well, I'll tell Stacy, who owned the company, to send you some stuff. And she did, and then she reached out, and she was like, hey, I'm going to throw a editor's dinner for magazine editors with the owner of Camacho. Camacho at the time was in the process of being sold to Davidoff in Geneva. And she's like, all the Davidoff guys are going to be there, the marketing guys, and Christian, whose family owned Camacho, would you come to his dinner? And I was like, sure. So I went to dinner. Sunset Tower, super nice, you know, all these magazines, we're all smoking cigars. Because they're trying to get, basically trying to get the magazines to put it on the list of Christmas gifts for, you know, people. Give them Camacho cigars. It's not, you get it's like a marketing thing. So when I was there, I met Dylan Austin and a bunch of the other guys, and they were like, hey, man, you should come to Honduras with us and blend some cigars. I was like, yeah, sure, bro. So sure enough, they sent me tickets, me and my buddy Nate Blon, flew us to Miami, went to Honduras, stayed there for like a bunch of days with these guys, went to their factory in Donley, blended up cigars. I'm like, this is awesome. And then, you know, I would say like a year later, they were relaunching Camacho once they bought it. And they were putting together, you know, their marketing campaign, which was Board of the Bold. And it was Mike Ditka, who has like a capsule collection with them. Matt Booth, who is a well-known jewelry designer, who designed some accessories for them. And then they built him a line called Room 101, which is a really strong, you know, brand. And they were like, yo, if you come in to be the third person member of the Board of the Bold, we'll build you a brand.
Wow.
So I was like, cool. So, you know, so that we started working on it, did all samples. I did the campaign with them, and we built BG Meyer. You know, it was really cool, and it was doing well. It came at a very just fucked up time in the world of tobacco. The FDA, in their pursuit of tighter regulations of the vaping industry, lumped in premium tobacco with that and came up with like very, very stringent regulations for it, which honestly, I don't even think to date have still been put into effect, but it just spun the whole business so into panic. So then it became like, you know, I always owned my trademark, even though I was just a royalty partner. They actually put up all the money and did all the distribution, manufacturing, marketing, everything. But they wanted me to pay for, you know, the processing, the registration. I was just like, I don't know. So we just kind of like went through like the 3-year contract we had, 3-year sell through. And then that ended like probably a little over a year ago. And I've actually been mulling opportunities over the last year of relaunching the BG Meyer, collaboration with somebody. But dude, it was a dalliance, and it's like, and it's a hobby, you know what I mean? Like, tobacco is very much like an old school industry that is really built on presence, right? You have to go to all the shops, shake all the hands, smoke with guys, which is enjoyable, by the way. It's cool to go meet people. You know you're a cigar smoker, man. You can walk into like any shop, sit there, and guys like, what are you smoking? Oh, bro, you should try one of these. You give them one, they give you a cigar. So, like people aren't that generous with fucking wine. You don't go to places, guys hand you fucking, you know, $100 bottle of wine, but people will give you sick cohibas. I mean, my friend Pierre from Pearl Trader, the first time I met him, he's like, bro, try this Behiki. He's like, take this like embargo, like, you know, Romeo Julieta. Because people want you to try really good stuff that's special.
It's so relaxing.
So I couldn't afford the time, bro. I never was able to get on the road with it. You know what I mean? Like I could do like 3-4 events a year, you know, and show up at the IPCPR, but I couldn't like just go to like Ohio like this week and then next week be in Mass, and you know what I mean? And then I have to go to Arizona. I just couldn't service it like that. So, and at the time it felt like it needed. I don't know that we need that now, but at the time it felt like a little bit more like that.
No. So listen, Rob, you lived a fucking life. Seriously. I mean, you know, there was some struggle times, but you picked yourself up and you concluded, you know. How many people could say that?
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I mean, listen, man, listen, I'll say this. There's always something I'm struggling with. There's just, that's just life. And that's for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, there's plenty, like, and I'm certainly not complaining, man. I like, even when I was fucking broke, I felt blessed just to be here. And that's not a knock on New York, but like, I was happy to get out of Long Island, man. You know what I mean? So like, I think part of what I did know when I was a kid was that I wanted to live out here. I might not have known I wanted to be a writer, but I knew I wanted to do something that would get me out here, you know? And I only knew that because my mother's side of the family had moved out here. So every year on spring break, she would take me out to LA. They had homes in Palm Springs and in the Valley. So I remember being out in like fucking, where was the epicenter of that? Northridge.
Oh,
My aunt and uncle had a house in North. So but that wasn't there for the earthquake. I was already in West Hollywood at the time for the earthquake. But when I was a kid, I'd go stay in Northridge with them, and they had this living room that looked out at the lights of like whatever basin valley that in. I don't know if I don't think it's San Fernando for some reason. Might be though. And I remember thinking like, man, this is just on top of the world, you know? So like, it was always kind of in my head to get out here. So yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. Obviously, I love life, but there's always shit, man. You're always trying to like, you know, what's the next show? You know, there's always a ton of
now
shit.
Ballers, it's still going right now. Did you guys get picked up? What's
done? Man. We finished it.
Man.
Oh,
you
we
finished
last summer. That was it, man. We knew we were doing 5 seasons all along. And, you know, obviously in the back of your head, you go like, fuck, it'd be great if we could do another 2 or 3, you know, but we were fortunate in the sense that we were able to write that season knowing we were ending that show compared to a lot of shows that fucking grind and then they're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a complete story there. There's definitely more we could have done. But I think schedule-wise, it was getting increasingly tough. You know, we had some, like, pretty powerful stars on that show, and schedules were tight. But it was just always, like, a 5-year thing, you know? Me and Lev are writing a new pilot for HBO right now that I'm excited about, and we'll see, you know? Nothing's shooting right now anyway, but...
Yeah.
When we started working on it, like probably a little less than a year ago, we always assumed that, you know, if we should get it going, it would probably go in the new year of this coming year. And I mean, obviously, I have a ton of other shit I'm developing.
Oh, you got a lot of shit. Now, when you do your writing, Rob, it's just like, do you sit in a spot and you just craft? You know, are you at home doing this? Do you go somewhere?
I'm a horrible, horrible self-starter, man.
Yeah.
I'm like a gun to the head kind of guy. The way I like to write is the way the last few seasons of Ballers, the way we wrote it. Like, Lev would come to my house, or I'd go to Lev's house, and Natalie Lindemann, who was one of our producers, but who also kind of like, I don't even know what her title really was in terms of, like, script coordinating or whatever, but she always kept us on track. And we would just, like, write, man. We just pass the computer back and forth. And it was like every day you're just making gains and getting pages done and like, where do we got to go next? And then we write those scenes. I like to just keep it moving. Like, I don't want to, I think the hardest part is the beginning, you know what I mean? Once the show gets up and going and, you know, you have the voices of the characters and you know where you want to take them, it's substantially easier, you know? And it just becomes, it's more fluid, man. It's a fluid process. But me sitting down staring at a blank, like, screen, bro, it's the worst fucking feeling in the world, bro. I mean, it's just like, for me, I'm just like, fuck, I'd rather be anywhere, man, you know what I mean? But once I get into stuff, like, you hit a zone.
Yeah.
Like, there are times where I've been crunching, like, on a couple feature things, and, like, you just don't want to stop writing. You just want to get up and write, and just get going and keep going. So I've been in that place too, you know, but I mean, like, I think I'm really good for like 4-hour grind sessions of writing. And then I'm pretty much like, I'm toast, bro. Even in a writer's room, I'm just like, if I'm sitting in a chair for 4 hours, by the way, I could go do 2 shows and I could do 4 hours on one show and then 4 hours on another show, but I couldn't do 8 hours sitting there talking about the same show.
Ooh, okay.
Like, I can't do that.
Listen,
you know?
I mean...
I'm sure that's a question, Eddie. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
No.
I'm so tapped trying to figure out the Skype shit.
Listen, I came through, didn't I, Rob? Come on now. I helped you out with the Skype.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. Well, because you're a part-time IT guy. You're also on the side, obviously.
No,
you know?
I'm not. It's just... You know what it is? I'm not...
It's crazy, too. I've been locked up in my house for 10 weeks. I have done no less than probably 20 or 30 video conferencing calls. Not one of those calls has happened on Skype.
You know why?
They've been
Because the new shit is Instagram Live and Zoom, but I can't do pictures while I'm talking to you on Instagram, and I can't do it on Zoom.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
so pretty much, I'm like the showroom.
Zoom isn't the best one. I'll tell you, like, some of these other ones are like, Zoom's kind of cool. I don't want to shit on Zoom, But I'll tell you which one, man. I did one with a whole group of people, like some business thing. WebEx is cool.
WebEx.
WebEx is cool, and the Google one, Google Meetings or whatever it is.
Right. But you see, but
That was,
they can't do shit what I could do. I'm like the control room. You see what I mean? I'm like the news, you know? It's like if I want to go to a picture, boom, we could talk about that. You know?
I know. I love the fact that I had to have a mini heart attack for fucking up this whatever your thing is. I don't know. It's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Because you need to keep flashing pictures of fucking Louis Lombardi so that Louis Lombardi's face can keep coming on screen. That's what I'm having a heart attack downloading Skype for. Yeah, I get it, man. It's cool. It's cool you did this, you know?
No, listen.
And that you have the whole setup thing, man.
So, my good friend, Matt Levy, do you remember him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So, he
was a club guy, too.
He's a what?
He was a club guy also. Isn't Matt out here, too?
Yeah, Matt Levy's out here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You gave him the best quote in How to Lose Weight. You told him, eat to live.
Oh, I know exactly what it was. Well, because I said to, because I lost weight then. Meanwhile, now I'm like probably 20 pounds less than I was then. But I know exactly what I told him. I said, yeah, bro, because I said I don't live to eat. I eat to live.
Right.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, I'm not a foodie, you know, I'm just not. There are people that are like, you know, they're just like freaks for food, like Doug Ellin.
Yeah, Doug Ellin. How the fuck does he eat that much and he's still thin?
I think I got hollow legs, man. I have no idea. He says he's down to like 170. And the guy fucking, I've never seen a human being eat like, he'll tell you he's eaten until he's gotten sick. Like, he just doesn't. All those things, when you see him put out like the tables full of food,
yeah,
and you're like, there's no way he can eat it, he eats it. It's nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, he just must have like the world's fastest metabolism, you know. But I'm not like that. I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, it's like I like food, but I'm very basic, man. Like, I don't have gluten because I have celiac disease. It's like I go to Erewhon every day. I mean, not during the pandemic, but I would just go there.
That the one on Beverly?
Yeah, I go to Erewhon. That's why I'll be there. It's like, you know, but I'm not like, oh, I got to go to this restaurant. I got to try this. You know, I'm just like, I'm fucking basic, bro.
Simple.
You know what I mean?
Simple, Rob. Simplicity.
Coffee, bars, you know. It's simple shit, bro, you know?
Listen, Rob, I had a blast with you, seriously. I mean, you're...
You, bro.
Listen, you're an amazing person.
It was painless minus the technical difficulties,
fuck the technical difficulties. So what? So we got you know what I'll put on YouTube? Part 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I don't know where this thing is. I don't know who's seeing it. So I just, I don't want to fuck up your show for you, man.
No. Listen, that's no big deal. The key thing is getting you back. That's what you know what I mean? I ain't panic. Listen, I got a huge athletic background, man. When there's times you got to come through, that's when you got to relax. You know, let the game come to you. You know what I mean? That's why I wasn't like, yo, Rob, do this, Rob, do that. Nah, fuck that. Take your time.
You know, it's funny, man. Like a lot of life. Like I started doing jujitsu like a year ago, and like it's interesting because I'm not a big water guy, but I understand there's some correlation from people who surf and do jujitsu.
Mm-hmm.
You get into a Zen state in both in a weird way. But again, I don't know the surfing part. But it's funny, I found myself telling my son, like, my son's learning how to swim, he's 4. And then, like, he's just like, I want to go again. He keeps going, he can't breathe. And I'm like, yo, jujitsu breath. Breath. So then he'll finally stop and go, and settle down. And you know what I mean? Probably the biggest thing I learned in that thing was just how to finally breathe a little bit better.
Yes.
Calm down through shit, you know, and not get super excitable.
Yeah,
so.
See, when you're like an athlete, if you watch games, I know you're not into that shit, but if you catch a game and there's like a tough situation for a player, you always see him go like this, especially in baseball. He'll be like this. All right, let's go. You know what I mean? It's just they take that breath because you know you don't want to be tense. And the same thing in acting. You know, I do the same thing. It's like you just want to relax, let it come to you. Listen to
you have to, man. I think like that and controlling emotions. You know what I mean? Those are 2 big steps in, the evolution of just getting better at what you do, man. It's like when you look at like the best, it's like, and they're just got that steely focus, you know what I mean? They're in that zone.
You know what book you should read? Read Phil Jackson's book.
Somebody else told me that, man. Somebody else told me it was
It's a
great.
good book, man. It's a good book for,
Yeah.
and not just for athletes. It's a really good book in life in general.
Right.
You'll like it, Rob. If you don't like it, I'll reimburse your monthly mortgage. How's that?
Okay. All right, man. I'll take you up on it.
Well, listen, Rob. I'm gonna let you go, but stay on here because I want you to do a couple things of recording just between you and I. So we're gonna be off. All right.
All right. I don't know how.
Just stay there.
disconnect from
Stay
this.
there. You're not going anywhere. Just stay there.
Yeah.